Hi, I'm Fraser O'Leary, and Dan Rashan asked me to come on and share this resource with you during his listing challenge. I'm delighted that you're connected with Dan. Dan has been a good friend for about 17 years, and we have a lot of fun together. And as he'll tell you readily, I am responsible for all the success that he has had or will have in both his business and personal life. So you can ask him about that. But what we wanted to talk about today is how you as an agent can, when you're approaching FSBOs, put yourself in a situation where you can have some more options and some more leverage. So what we're going to talk about is our buy it or list it strategy. And I represent the National Association of Real Estate Agent Investors. And what we do is we help real estate agents invest personally, help them attract more business from their existing investors in their client list, help their clients who aren't investors yet buy their first property, and then use real estate investing to attract new prospects and to grow their sphere of influence. So this is really an investment strategy, though you'll also see that at the end of it, there's a way for you to use this to grow your own buyers list and stay connected with your sphere of influence. So let's get right into it. What we're going to do is we want you to go into every call with two options: to buy it or list it. And so we're going to talk about this. You already know how to list the property. We're going to talk about this, about how you can buy the property. But I want you to keep in the back of your mind that your buying offer is also going to support the leverage that you have to do the listing if you want. So the first step is that you have to qualify the deal. We have to understand what's the seller's motivation, what's the seller situation and the house situation, because that enables us to run the numbers and then decide either to do one or both of these, to make an investor right now offer or to make a top dollar sale offer, and probably both. Okay, but we're going to start with the investor right now offer. When I say run the numbers, what do I mean by that? I mean that we need to figure out what the house will sell for after repair value. You know that, right? You can run comps in the neighborhood. It's the same stuff that you would do if you were doing a listing presentation. Here's what the house would sell for, except that this house, if you're going to be able to buy it, if there's any chance that you're going to be able to buy it as an investor property, it's got to need some rehab. Okay, so what you now can do is, rather than look at this as an as-is property that you're trying to list and sell, or something like that, what you can do is you can say, what would it take to rehab this property, to renovate this property, to get it to a point where it could sell for top dollar or rent for top dollar? So you run those numbers. Okay, so you have after repair value number one, repair cost, rehab cost number two. Then the third factor is something that you need to look at your market and understand, because it really comes down to how quickly are you going to have to, how big is the rehab, how much is the money that you're going to use, how much does it cost for you to get the money that you're going to use in order to buy the rehab and to hold on to the rehab and to fund the rehab. But then the biggest factor, honestly, is how quickly is it likely that this property would sell after it's fixed. Okay, so that's your market factor, and what you're looking to do is to build in your profit on this deal. And like, there are closing costs for buying and selling a property. There's all this stuff, but typically if you can buy a property at 70% of the after repair value minus the repair costs, then you can do that deal profitably, as long as your numbers are good, right? As long as you have estimated the after repair value and the repair costs correctly, that leaves enough margin, enough buffer for you to be able to have profit after closing cost, after holding cost, a little bit of a fudge factor on the rehab, etc. Okay. But if you're in a slow market, then that number drops. You want to buy it at 65% of after repair value. If you're in a hot market, you might go to 75%. I've heard of people going to 80%. And one of the things we're going to talk about is there's you as a potential buyer, and then there are your clients as potential buyers for this property or this contract. Okay, so you're going to get to know that later. That's beyond the scope of what we're going to talk about today. So the rehab or purchase price, maximum allowable offer, the maximum that you're allowed to pay for the property, is your after repair value times your market factor percentage minus repair costs. So let's take a look at this. You got a single family house, after repair value of 300,000. After it's all fixed up, you think it'll sell for 300,000, but it's going to take 60K to get there. All right. And it's a hot market. So you're going to go with a market factor up to 75%. You're going to kind of be in the middle there. That looks like 300,000 times 70% is 210,000. Subtract the rehab cost, 60,000 out gives you 150,000, which means that your maximum allowable offer for that property is $150,000. Okay. After repair value, 300,000. Your maximum allowable offer, 150,000. So a lot of times people hear about this and they're like, well, why would anybody sell for that? Well, they would need the money quickly. They're worried about the market. They don't want to do a big rehab. $60,000 is a reasonable size rehab. They've lost their job. They just want to be rid of the property. Maybe it's an inherited property. They need to split the proceeds with siblings, or they're divorcing. They need to split the proceeds with the spouse. There's all kind. They're aging out of the house, and it's fallen into disrepair. They're in pre-foreclosure for any number of reasons, or they just have an emotional need to be free of the property. Right? Why are they selling in the first place? So this is what you're just trying to figure out. You need to see, is their motivation situation such where you can buy it at that amount? All right. So let's say you do. Let's say they accept your MAO, $150,000. You close on the property. You can close on it with hard money financing, which we can talk about at a later time, or traditional financing, or you can wholesale the contract. You have a contract to purchase the property, which means you have an equitable interest in that property, which means that you can actually find a buyer, somebody who wants to rehab that property, assign your contract to them. I don't want to get into what contract you're using or whether it's assignable or not. If you're doing an investment deal, you should make sure it's an assignable contract. That's just non-legal words of advice to a property, to a rehabber, and then you can have a wholesale fee that is the difference between what you sell the contract to them for and what you bought it for, or what you are going to buy it for. Now let's skip over that, because we have a whole resource on wholesaling if you like it. But what if they don't want to sell for your maximum allowable offer? All right, great. Then you say, listen, you would like to get top dollar for this property. I will list it and sell it for you, right? That's one. If you know that they're not going to get top dollar for the property unless they do a rehab, well, then you can coordinate a rehab for them. Not necessarily you coordinate it, but you can show them how they can use the future proceeds from the sale to finance a current rehab on the property, if they want to do that, right? If they want to take on rehab. If they don't, then they need to sell it for a discount. And then also another thing is, one of the things we want to do is use any property as a way to grow and attract buyers. So you could offer to share the property to your list or social network. Now, if you don't have a listing agreement, then you might want to get an option on the property so that you have an equitable interest. And when a deal comes in, you have a way to profit off of that. I'll leave that to you. But the key is you've got your offer, you got your investor right now offer, you've got your top dollar offer, and use this to grow your buyers list. There are lots of ways to grow your buyers list. You could share deal profiles on social media and your newsletter. That will tend to attract people who are interested in being a rehabber. You can host one of our agent investor info sessions where we talk about real estate investing, rehabbing, wholesaling, hard money, private money, tax benefits with you as the real estate expert. You can reach out to other wholesalers and share or promote their deals, right? Because they are constantly going out and finding deals. You can be a great partner for them. And if you contact me, I'll tell you a little secret about that, how wholesalers can be your best friend. It's probably not what you think, but it's a great strategy. Dan knows it. Okay, you can just ask Dan about it. But there's a great way that wholesalers can really be a gas on your business, but it's not what most people think. You can host an agent investor session on evaluating deals. You could have these deals coming in from wholesalers and just sit and evaluate them. Talk about the ARV, talk about the repair costs. Get your rehabber or home inspector to talk about repair costs if you're not comfortable with it. And then profile the people in your network, your sphere of influence, who are successful rehabbers, landlords, investors. All right. It was great talking to you. If you want to go to agentinvestor.org, you can download our Agent Investor Guide, how to grow your business, increase your income, build wealth, expand your impact, and have more fun doing it by being an agent investor. Dan, I was hanging out with Dan this weekend, and Dan says, listen, Frazier, rule of three, you gotta always have three things. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things here. And I said, listen, I over deliver. Okay, he's going to yell at me. All right, here we go. So yeah, just go. You can go to the website and download that, and hopefully some of these resources will be helpful for you. I am delighted that you're with Dan on this 5-day challenge. It's awesome. I've done both the listing and the buying challenge, and I think it's great stuff, and it just gets better and better. So make sure that you stay connected with Dan. He can really help you achieve your goal of consistent and predictable income.